All right, hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of Premier Martial Arts and Martial Arts Management Group Success Series session. I'm glad to have our guest today, Aaron Hensley, from Premier Martial Arts in Augusta, Georgia. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Doing great today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Hey, you know what? I'm really glad to have you on the Success Series sessions, and you're a good friend of mine, and you've had a great story, and I've enjoyed having a relationship with you and getting to build that friendship as well as the business relationship as well. Hey, not everyone knows you as well as I do, so how about tell us about Aaron Hensley briefly?
So I'm 33 years old. Been in martial arts since I was 2.5 years old. So basically my entire life. I've been studying under the Chuck Norris system of martial arts, the 6th-degree black belt under Chuck Norris, and opened my school in 2009 as a Premier Martial Arts school, basically from scratch. And so just now about to wrap up our 5th year in business this year.
Now you come from a martial arts family, all right? Your mother and dad, did they both train from Mr. Norris?
Well, my mom and dad actually met in a martial arts school. My dad went to go buy a uniform from her back in the 70s, and apparently she got kicked in the head, apparently is what she tells me, and she fell in love. And so I was raised in a martial arts school.
Awesome.
My father actually works for me now, and he's a 7th-degree black belt under Chuck Norris.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Now, you said you've been in business with your school for 5 years. Give us a little bit, these sessions are for owners. Owners love
Sure.
to hear the things that other owners went through, good, bad, ugly, everything, because they learn from it, they connect with it. So why don't you give us a little history about the business in your school the past 5 years?
Well, I just actually talked to some school owners last week and they asked me why I'm with Premier. And with my martial arts background, my whole life being in martial arts, I wanted the school to be top-notch professional from the start. And so that's why I researched Premier for a while and decided to go with Premier. But from the time we opened the school, the first year was probably the hardest, obviously, starting from the ground up. Had about maybe 20 students I started the school with, but it was a leap of faith. And literally just busting my butt, worked hard. And so the first year we were profitable, and that gave me a lot of promise, a lot of hope that, hey, I'm going to be able to fulfill the dream to be able to do this full time and not have to be the typical martial arts school owner that's working a day job and then running a school at night. And then by year 3, I was able to make 6 figures for the first time in my life, and it's gone up every year since then. So it's been a huge blessing. But obviously it's hard work, and I deal with the ups and downs like all the other school owners I'm sure deal with.
Sure.
But it's been very rewarding as well.
Now, did you say when you first started your school you were working another job?
Well, I was teaching martial arts, but kind of with my father at the time, and he went through some things in life where he lost his mother, he got injured, went through depression, and that was a tough thing to see my father go through. And so at the time, he really couldn't afford to pay me what I needed to make to live off, and so it was kind of time for me to do my own thing at that moment. And I will tell you that's tough because to go have that conversation with your dad and say, hey, I need to do my own thing. But it was time in my life for me to kind of step out. And now we're full circle. Now he works for me. So it worked out for the better. It was a tough stretch in life to see, my hero in life to go through pain that I've never seen before. But those are the life lessons that we were hopefully prepared for to be able to deal with.
Right. So you had 20 students when you opened your school. Just flash
Right.
ahead to present day. How many students do you have at the school now?
Active count, we're about 280. We hover around that 300 mark, kind of goes up and down, whatever. But about 280 is our active count.
Okay. And what are we, this is a business conversation, so do you mind sharing your average gross revenue monthly?
All right. Yeah, our average gross revenue is about 35,000 a month. Obviously, we have some of those months that are, crazy good months that are 50 plus, and then some that are 30.
Testing months and
So,
yeah, absolutely. All right, very, very cool. Now, you recently opened up another location, and
right.
we did this as what the premier model, the newer model or different model is the S1X, which stands for simplicity, or someone's first location, or their expansion. And for you, you use both simplicity and for your expansion. So
Right.
how long's the S1X been open now?
We're about to finish our 3rd month. This is something I've been wanting to do for about 3 years. Basically, at the end of my second year of business, I knew I wanted to expand. But there's always that fear right there of, I didn't want to be, because I know other school owners who say they own 2 or 3 schools, but they teach 2 nights at one school, 2 nights
Right.
at another. That wasn't my
Right.
concept at all. I wanted to be able to grow our brand, but at the same time, be able to grow profits for me to build a future. Um, so I wouldn't have to necessarily be on the mat when I'm 65
Right.
years
And
old.
that school's been open how long? The new one?
We're about to finish our third
Third
month.
month? Okay.
Right. We've been profitable since month 1.
Awesome.
Um, I've been very fortunate. I think, location, I think, is definitely a huge part of that, and having the right person. And I feel like I've kind of hit a home run on both of those. My staff member's working there. Actually, hasn't even taken his black belt test yet. He's in the process of doing that now. But he's awesome with people. Learn systems, follow them. And since the day we've opened, I have not been in the school. So to me, that's a testament of the systems
Absolutely.
working.
Absolutely. How many students are in the new location in 3 months?
We have 40
That's
students
awesome.
right now.
That's I talk to school owners all the time when they're doing beginning level consulting, and they've been in business for years and years with only 50, 60 students. So to hit 40 in the first 3 months, that's great, and turn
Right.
off.
And that's during
Yeah,
the
it's
summertime.
summertime. That's true.
That's not even the
This is
best
being
time of
recorded
year
in,
for us
in
to be there.
July. So you opened up that school in the
Right.
end of May or in May?
When school is ending,
Right.
right,
So
exactly.
the worst time of year
And
to open up a school, by the way.
right, exactly. And so I'm really excited about that school, how it's going to take off, especially August when school time is about to kick in. I think it's really going to be an awesome
For
location.
those
Awesome
owners
school.
that doesn't know what the S1X, S1X, the primary idea behind that is one staff member, great location, keeping expenses low, profit margins high, everything in the school from curriculum to scheduling, everything is simple, opening Monday through Thursday only. So it's just a uniquely different method of running a school than a lot of people feel in the past. And I think a lot of school owners in the past, maybe if a few years ago, if I described this type of school to them, they would be, that would not define success. But, to me, success is owning a business that you're not in. You don't have to be there. It's another stream of income that's passive. You're never at the location. Putting systems in place that work themselves. And more importantly, is generating a profit, which you generated a profit every month that you've been open. And that's the most important part of this,
I'll tell you the one thing, if I would have kind of known about this concept when I first opened my school, I'd probably running this kind of model instead of a mega school like I have. But my wife always complains about my schedule, about the hours that I work, and I enjoy work. But Chris, who works in that school, he works 4 days a week. He's got a better schedule than I do as far as work now. But like I said, the great thing is I have cameras, microphone in the school. I can watch anything that goes on in the school, so I'm able to manage it from afar. I don't have to. I can from my computer manage the school. We meet twice a week for physical training and then also for staff training with him. And to be able to own basically a franchise, for lack of a better term, and not have to be there day in and day out. I mean, like I said, since we've opened, I have not been in the school. That's to me a testament that, hey, the systems work. It's proven. It doesn't take a master black belt to run the school. It's small square footage, great real estate as far as where we're at. Overhead, we manage that. I'm already ready for my next
when
one.
you only have to find one good key person to generate.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it this way: every time that you want to increase and gain the profit that you're getting from the S1X, you only have to find that one person. Whereas a lot of times to generate the profit we're making from our bigger schools, we got to find a full staff for that, man. So, it is a totally different model.
More staff, you have more problems. I mean, honestly, that's the one thing I'm excited about S1X. I've got one guy to go through. It's easy for meetings. We're on the same page. We just everything about it. It is simple. Obviously, you've got to know what you're doing. But I mean, it's been, and this is in the worst time, I believe. Summertime. So I'm excited for it.
Well, let's flash forward a little bit. We're talking about success, and people have different definitions of success. It's a success on a level of happiness that they're having, success on the level of the amount of money they're making, and success on the level of the type of life they've created for themselves. I don't know that, somebody is really successful if they're working, 60, 70 hours a week. They never see their family. They never get to travel. That don't matter how much money, how much money is your freedom, is your family, is your relationships, is your motivation. How much money is that really worth? So, keeping in mind of those three things, how is your success doing?
Well, right now in life, I've got a 6-year-old and about to be a 1-year-old next week. For me, I want to be able to have more time for them. So that's when my goals are to work towards that. Uh, Martial arts happens to be my hobby as well as my job. So I still enjoy competing and traveling, but I love travel. Travel is my thing for enjoyment. And so I'm looking forward to right now in the next year getting Jackson involved with martial arts competitions. And that's how I kind of grew up. I'm excited about kind of sharing that for the third generation now. Um, and so maybe I'm unique. I don't have toys. I don't have boats and motorcycles. It's not that. For me, it's travel. Pretty much every month I go somewhere, and a lot of times it's for business, but it's also my hobby as well too. Just got back from Las Vegas last week for a competition. I was in Orlando the week before that. Um, but yes, there are challenges in life. Obviously, dealing with family in general, there's ups and downs. But for me, being able to do martial arts with my kids, have time with my wife, to be able to travel with my family. We're going to Myrtle Beach in a week. My wife's going to be there for a week before me, actually, with her dad and my son, and then I'll meet them there for martial arts competition as well.
Well,
I mean,
great, great.
it
That's
is going
awesome.
really well.
That sounds like success to me. So, let's move on to our next best and greatest questions. These are just some of the questions
Okay.
I found that school owners kind of want to ask each other. First, what is one of the greatest
All right.
challenges that you've had in your martial arts school career so far?
So this kind of goes back to where happiness is. I think the biggest challenge for me is finding that balance between home life and work life, because my work is, like I said, also my hobby. I love to train in martial arts, and to be good in something, it takes hours and time. So that balance has been tough, and especially like right now, we've had some. My wife lost her mom a few weeks ago, and having those challenges in your family and not let it just mentally detract you from things. It's tough to find that balance in life, and we're not superhuman, even though we, as black folks, we think we are sometimes. So I think the biggest challenge is just finding that balance to make sure you take the time so your business is successful. If you enjoy still training in the martial arts, which hopefully you do if that's your career, to take time for you to work on your craft, and then also to have that time for your family life. That's to me always the challenge, because I do tend to be an obsessive person when it comes to anything I want to be good at, and to sometimes to take a time out to
Okay,
know that I can do that.
great.
That for me is the
What
biggest
about
challenge.
maybe your greatest victory that you feel like you've had in business?
So, three of them that come to mind right off the top. Greatest victory was the first time I did a mass intro. The first year I never did one-on-one intros because I was kind of a one-man show my first year. So we had 14 people show up. I had a booth set up at a Walmart that Friday. Saturday I had 14 people show up, and I'm reading the scripts even to the last minute, and nervous, haven't done this before. And I remember I had 14 kids, signed up 11. And I know I didn't even do that good of a job. I know teaching is my specialty, that's my strong
Right.
point. But I know I didn't say the words right. But I signed up 11 people the first time, and I remember I went to lunch with my family afterwards. And I was like, can you believe I signed up 11 people in an hour? Like
Right.
I know school
Exactly.
owners that don't do that in a month. And so that was the first thing to kind of say, okay, I'm going to be able to do this. Um, I guess the next one, this is a little bit maybe long-winded, but I'll give you the short, condensed version. I had a parent who's now, their son's one of my black belts, say he needed to have a conversation with me. And this guy is a multimillionaire, very successful business person. Matter of fact, helped find my location at my main school for me. And pulled me aside, took me to lunch, and told me this whole story that took an hour for him to tell me. He's in tears crying, but basically they had a boating accident, and him, his friend, and three kids, one being his son, they're all 11 and 12-year-olds, had only three life vests. They're in the ocean, and they don't know. It's dark. It's nighttime. They don't know where to go. They get caught up in a rip current. Finally, they're able to swim out. have a cell phone. They get Coast Guard on. Coast Guard says, hey, we're sending a helicopter to try to find you. We can locate you through GPS through your phone. But tide's about to come back in, so you need to try to swim somewhere else. He says goodbye to his son, tells him, I love you. I think shore's this way, swim this way. And his 11-year-old son grabs a hold of him and says, hey, Master Aaron taught me in the face of fear, if you can focus and concentrate, you can do anything you set your mind to. And he told me at that moment that no matter what was going to happen in life, if he died that day, he knew his son was going to be okay. And he wanted to thank me for the training. He said he could have put his son in baseball or anything else, but for some reason they brought him to me. And that made me feel, I'm sure there's many stories we don't hear about how there's little things that we've done in somebody's life to give them confidence to do something. But that made me feel empowered at that moment. That man,
yeah, you're not just teaching martial arts for a living, you're impacting the community and the students' lives.
Right. So that was a huge victory, I think, for me, because it gave me the confidence that my purpose was bigger than just teaching martial arts. And the last one I would say is when the Karate Kid movie came out,
wow.
I signed up 60 students in 1 week. And that was huge. That was just through doing the mass intro system. And that was a huge victory for me in that school. And look forward to the Ninja Turtle movie, try to reproduce that again. So those are some of the victories
awesome.
that come to mind really quickly.
What do you think your best marketing things that work for you, that click, that that that's your go-to marketing systems?
Anytime we set up a promotional booth, we get results. We're able to talk to people. I mean, that works. Right now, we're doing a lot of the every door direct mail. And that's been a huge thing for us as far as getting people through, obviously using the text code and things like that. But I would say that our go-to thing is anytime we can set up a booth, we set up a booth. We collect the best amount of leads, the most amount of leads through doing that. And it gives us a result. And it's cheap, inexpensive. Most of the time it's free. And to me, it takes man hours, but sweat equity.
What's the one secret to your success? I mean, what do you think that maybe is obvious or maybe not so obvious that you would count as a secret or I guess I'm trying to say something that's led to the success you've achieved so far?
So I think just like we teach our students, discipline to me is the key ingredient for success. I talk to other business owners in other fields, and to me what separates the average person in business and the person that goes really far is just having that discipline to do the things, those small little details. You say God is in the details. Doing those small things that other people honestly just aren't willing to do. To put in that extra hour, to do that extra birthday party you don't want to do, to all those little things, that customer service. To me, it's been the discipline of be willing to put in the time. And really, I also remember being taught as a kid, if you're going to do something, if you're going to take the time to do it right. Just taking the time, doing things high quality, really caring about people, just having the discipline to do all those extra things that the average person running a martial arts school, maybe they get burned out from the time or for sometimes the lack of success or things like that. Just be willing to put your nose to the grindstone and work and having that discipline. It's no different when you're earning a black belt or if you're trying to lose weight. I mean, we know all the right things, but average Americans, we lack the discipline to put in place.
Very good.
And
to
me,
what's the best piece of advice you could give another school owner that maybe hasn't achieved your results yet?
So I don't think we're too far apart from the person who is having that success and the person isn't. I think it goes back to one, having that discipline. The other thing is honestly goals. When I do talk to other school owners, most of them, they have dreams, but not goals. They're not very specific of what they want to do. And I relate it back to whether you're going to lose weight, if you're going to win a karate competition, anything in life. Like if you're serious about something, you write it out, you back up from there how you're going to get to that point. And I think a lot of them just lack the fact of truly goal setting. And then the goal's got to be meaningful enough that you're willing to pay the price to get there. If you want 300 students, but if you have 300 students, you're still losing money. That's not a good goal. It's got to have a purpose to that goal, and knowing where your heart lies. And to me, that's the biggest thing. I think people just lack true, clear-cut goals, what they want to do with their life, with their business.
Al Garza would say purpose-driven. Be purpose-driven life. Yeah, awesome. So let's what's next
Absolutely.
for Aaron Hensley?
100%. Uh, well, personally, I'm looking forward next week to celebrating 1 year with my daughter. That's been an amazing journey seeing her grow up. Hopefully, more kids down in the future as well too. Business-wise, I can't wait to open up the third location and kind of grow from there. For me, I say an exit strategy. I want to be in martial arts my whole life, but for my retirement, my plan is to eventually build some schools and be able to sell them to the person running that school. And that's my way of kind of having retirement set up, so I can travel and do the things I enjoy. So I'm already looking at locations, working on finding that right person. And then also, I'm still competing in martial arts, enjoying that. I was able to teach for Chuck Norris last week. That was an awesome opportunity. But now I'm looking forward to teaching my son how to kind of come up through the ranks and compete. And like I said, we're a martial arts family, so it's not just our
Awesome.
career path for us.
Mr.
It's
Hensley,
something we
thank you
do
so
every
much
day.
for spending time with us. I know many school owners are going to see this and get benefit from it. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you at our next Premier Martial Arts and Martial Arts Management Group event. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Barry.